Hello, Earthlings! Today we are examining the new Ghost album, Prequelle. This joke is wearing thin.
Anyway, this is the fourth album from the Swedish metal act Ghost, a band that thrived on anonymity until recently when Tobias Forge was revealed to be the mastermind behind the whole thing, as well as the first three Papae Emeriti who fronted the band. On this album, he's back with a new persona, Cardinal Copia, his first non-Papa Emeritus character, although Papa Nihil does make a cameo in one of the tracks. But anyway, let's get to the music. Alright, track one is the intro, Ashes. This uses the always effectively spooky device of children singing a nursery rhyme with some weird sounds in the background. And this particular one really ties in with the next track because of the apocryphal story that the line a tissue signifies as sneezing from the Black Plague. Over here in the US we say ashes, ashes, which happens to be the title of the track. But yeah, bubonic plague was brought on by rats, which is very appropriate because the next track is called Rats. In fact, the bells at the end of Ashes kind of tease a riff that ends up later in Rats. It's another hard rockin' single, a bit more epic, and significantly funkier than their previous smash hit Square Hammer. And there's not much to say except that it ends with the harpsichord playing the Ashes riff, which the guitar then picks up, and it's definitely my favorite song on the album. Faith has a really heavy guitar riff, which I dig, especially because I think it's doubled with a synth bass, but it opens up in the chorus. The devil voice near the end is a bit cheesy, but the choir and organ at the end is almost angelic, which is kind of weird considering this is a Ghost album. Speaking of which, See the Light is the first ballad of the album. It's quite poppy, even by Ghost standards, with a lot of really prominent piano and synth. It's almost a satanic hymn, but there are some love song overtones in the line, "None could compare to you." And then Miasma is the first instrumental of the album. You've got some synth lines and guitar lines alternating with each other. The riff in the second half sounds a little bit like Beat It, like Michael Jackson, with the dun-dun-on, and then you get a cameo from Papa Nihil on the saxophone, right at the very end. Track 6, Dance Macabre, is a disco hard rocker type song, with some more love song overtones. Before I read the lyrics, I thought he was saying, "I want to be with you." Apparently he's mispronouncing Bewitch You, which is a much more Ghost lyric. Pro Memoria has an orchestral intro which gives way to another ballad, this time about death, although the lyrics here are, I think, kind of weak. Don't you forget about dying, don't you forget about your friend death, don't you forget that you will die. Not the greatest lyric ever, exactly. Witch Image is a mid-tempo number with some slightly Dream Police surrender type strings in the intro. It's another song where Tobias is the voice of the devil singing to you, sort of the mirror image of all those Christian hymns where God is singing to you. And the pale horse in the second verse reminds me a bit of the This Is America video by Childish Gambino, where you've got death on a pale horse in the background behind some more interesting stuff. At this point I should say the melodies on this album are brilliant, which is especially apparent in the instrumentals like Helvetesfönster. I hope that's close to the Swedish pronunciation. It means Hell's Window. And the melody here really swells to epic highs, in part because it's not burdened by Tobias's limited vocal range, and then it subsides again about 2/3 of the way through before ending with a bell tolling, which leads us into the final track, Life Eternal, the final ballad, the moment of just letting go, to quote the lyrics. And this one is just a love song. It's not explicitly satanic or even religious at all. It's just a love song about forever. And it's a great way to close the album, and the lyrical simplicity here does really work. So all in all, this is definitely a good album. I can't really compare it to any other Ghost albums at this point, because the only other album I've heard by them is Memoria, and that was a while ago. As of right now, I'll probably listen to it again after I upload this. I have also listened to the Pope Star EP, but that was basically just Square Hammer and a lot of covers. I've also heard their covers of If You Have Ghosts, cleverly called If You Have Ghost, and Waiting for the Night. But yeah, this is definitely a good album. I'm not so sure that they're a metal band anymore, even though I called them a metal band at the front of this video. They're really more just a satanic hard rock band. But there's never really been a satanic hard rock band before, let alone one as big as Ghost. Also, a couple things unrelated to this album. This channel is supposed to be primarily dedicated to my music, even though I haven't been posting that much lately, but I will be doing 2 more album reviews this month. Both will be uploaded sometime the day of the album's releases. One of them is going to be the new Mike Shinoda album, and the other is going to be the new Panic at the Disco album. Hopefully I'll be sharing an original song or a cover before my review of Mike's album. But those are a couple things to look forward to. Subscribe and make that bell toll so you don't miss them. I will see you then. But until next time, this is Neutron Sound signing off. Go forth and be awesome.